Alrighty, everybody. I'm going to be recording the instructions and the steps for the Rubik's Cube so that you can go back and watch it if you are not on the same page as someone else in the class or if I'm not able to help you. So I'm going to try to summarize the concept of what we're doing and how to identify what step you're on. And we'll also, this will accompany the cheat sheet with the algorithms on them. So I'm going to explain more specifically how to get from one step to the next and why we're doing it, and you can always use this as a reference. All right, so the first step, which we've talked about in class, is to get the daisy. And in the daisy, we are working on the yellow side of the cube. Notice that there is only one center piece on every side of the cube, and so there is only one yellow side of the cube right here. So to get the daisy, we would like 4 white edge pieces on the same side around the yellow side. Now, just as a refresher, there are 3 kinds of pieces on the Rubik's Cube. The center, the corner pieces, which, again, I've shown us, can fully be removed from the cube and are distinct, and the edge pieces. And I'll show you what I mean. I could take the edge out, and it would be one piece. This is an edge piece. All right, so for now, we have no regard for the corners. We are just trying to put 4 white edge pieces around the yellow center. So the strategy here is to look for a white edge piece, and as soon as you find it, you don't need to turn the cube to find it, just look around like this. As soon as you find it, you should ask yourself, what is the fastest or easiest way I can get it onto the yellow side around the daisy? So for example, this white edge piece, this is not a white edge piece, this is a corner. This white edge piece can be brought to this spot on the daisy just with one turn. If I turn around, I will solve it. And then we're looking for another white edge piece. Now keep in mind, we now have one thing to be careful not to mess up, and we have to just make sure that the moves we make do not take it off of the daisy, take it off of the yellow side. So I found another one. Now it's not as easy to bring right onto the yellow side, but before we had the white edge piece right here, and by turning the blue side, I can get to that same position, which was one turn away from going to the yellow side. Now, as I did that, I was paying attention to where my first edge piece was to make sure I didn't mess it up. But when I make this turn, the white edge is not affected, so that's totally fine to do. And then we do the same thing. Here's another white edge piece. Very quickly, I can bring it to that side. I can make sure there aren't 2 pieces in the way. And then, let's see an example of something that happens all the time. I have a white edge piece, and it is one turn away to get to the daisy. But there's already a daisy piece here. If I bring it up, I don't really get anything done. All I need to do, and I'm allowed to turn this daisy around, turn the yellow side itself. So when I say to turn a side, I mean the color in the middle should be rotating and turning. So by turning the yellow side, I can change where my already existing petals are of the daisy, these 3, so that there is now an empty space in its place. And there it is. Okay, now once you have the daisy, we're going to turn the cube so that the daisy is on the bottom. We're doing that so that we can turn the daisy around. And that, again, is not going to mess up any part of the daisy. And our goal is eventually to get a plus sign on the top. We're going to line up the pieces of the daisy by turning the bottom. This is still the yellow side, but I'm going to turn the bottom, and notice that each of these 4 pieces has another color on it. It has blue, green, orange, and red. And so we'll pick one of our 4 daisy pieces. They're all on the same side. Let's say I picked red, and we're going to rotate the bottom side until the color of this piece is lined up with the middle. So for example, this would be how I would line up the red. Now, we want this piece, which is now lined up, to go all the way to the top. So think of it like a clock. Right now, this white piece is on the bottom. The red is lined up. But I need to bring the clock from 6 o'clock down at the bottom to 12 o'clock at the top. And I'll do that by rotating the side with the color that I've lined up. I'm going to turn it all the way around and bring it to the top. Now, if you watch it from the side, you can see that what I'm doing is bringing the white piece all the way around to the top. We're going to continue doing that, checking to make sure that it is still white, a white piece that we're lining up. Pick another color, white and green. I will turn the bottom to line up the green. And I will rotate these two pieces, this white piece, all the way around to the top. And I've lined up another piece. You're going to need to do this just 4 times, lining up first. Remember to line up. You can't just bring up the white piece to the top, because the reason we make the daisy is so that we can make sure that the colors are correct. Remember that a lot of people can solve one side, but the side, the white side, needs to have the proper colors around in order to really be considered solved. I've lined up the blue with the blue. I'm going to turn it all the way around. Here it is. I have one more piece, and it's right here. It needs to go with the orange because it is white and orange. And I'm going to turn the bottom of the cube so that the orange is lined up. And then I will rotate it around. Now we have the cross. Okay, the next step on the cube is going to be to solve these 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. You may, in the process of getting your cross, have kind of inadvertently or accidentally solved one of these corners, and it might even be the right way. But we're not expecting to have any of these 4 solved at the beginning. So in this step, now the cross is on the top because we just put it there. And we're going to be looking on the bottom face, the bottom side, of the cube, bottom layer, for any corner with white on it. Now, this qualifies because it's not necessarily on the bottom side, but it's on the bottom. So I would say this is a white corner on the bottom side of the cube. The bottom layer, maybe. This also is a white corner on the bottom layer. I'll leave it turned like this so you can see. White corner on the bottom layer. And another one. So I could choose any of the 3. What we're going to do next is figure out where this corner, I'm going to pick this one because it's Met's colors, and we're going to figure out where it needs to go. So this is orange, white, and blue. So obviously it was going to have white on it. So the other 2 colors, orange and blue, are going to decide where that piece needs to go. So you might think it could go in any 4 spots, but the corner that we just found needs to go between the blue side and the orange side. So what we're going to do is a lot like the step that we just did. We're going to turn the bottom until that piece that we just found is underneath, like right now, orange and blue is underneath, literally, where it needs to go, right? So it doesn't matter which way it's facing, I just need it to be underneath. All right, so I'm going to do this backwards so it's facing the camera, and it's the same way that you are going to be holding the cube. So with the piece lined up directly underneath, there might be something there already. Right now there's a white corner in place. It could have even been facing up, but it's not the corner that really belongs there. This is the corner that belongs there. And we're going to do this sequence of 4 moves until the corner is facing right side up in the proper spot. All right, the sequence is right side towards you. So this is the right side. It is turning towards you. Bottom to the left. It's hard, backwards. Bottom to the left. The right side away from you. The opposite way. And bottom to the right. So I just did it once. That's the 4 moves, but not looking perfect so far. Now it's closer to being solved, but I just need to keep going with those same 4 moves until I have solved that corner in the right orientation. So right side towards you, bottom to the left, right side away from you, bottom to the right. So we've done it twice, and we're still not there. But that doesn't mean that we should not keep going. Right side towards you, bottom to the left, right side away from you. Oh, we got lucky. That was not necessarily going to happen, but we've actually solved a little bit more than we would have expected. So really what we're looking for is that this corner is correct. I'm going to, again, find another piece. This is red, white, and blue. It needs to go between the red, white, and blue faces, and that's right here between the red and blue edges. I just lined it up by turning the bottom until it is below where it needs to go, and sometimes you do get lucky and right side towards you, bottom to the left, right side away from you. You only need to do it once. All right, so a couple of things can happen while you're doing this. I'm going to set it up on purpose because you can be a little bit deceived into thinking that you are done when you're not. For example, that looks pretty cool. Maybe we got lucky and we didn't even need to put that corner in. But this corner is not really where it belongs. This is orange and green. We need it between orange and green. That's right here. Okay. What I do want there, and I've just turned the bottom to line it up, is the red and green corner right here. So I'm going to do towards you, left, away, right, until it is in the proper position. Towards you, left, away, right. There it is. Okay. Once you have the first side, and there we are, we did it. Notice that it will look like this. Most of the people that tell me they can solve a side, when I look, I don't see the colors lined up. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, the next goal of ours is to get the middle layer of the cube. So like I said, we got lucky here, and we actually have one of the pieces that I'm referring to. This middle layer is made up also of edge pieces. What we're going to do is place pieces from this top cross, from this top layer, down into the middle layer. So we're actually looking for a piece, one of these 4 edge pieces, these 4 pieces of the cross, that has no yellow on it. I only say yellow because the first side we solved was white, and contrary to somewhat popular belief, you don't need to solve the white side first. The colors are all the same. I've had Rubik's Cubes that were all different shades of gray, white, and black, and it was hard to solve them in the dark, but you can do it. And so because we've solved the white side first, we're looking for pieces that do not have yellow on them. And there's only one. This has yellow on it on top. This piece has yellow on it on the side. And this piece also has yellow on it on the side. So this one, though, has no yellow on it because it's red and green. So our first step is to turn the top layer until we're lined up again. We're going to do a lot of that, lining up edges with their proper color. So right here we have red and red. And that's the first step. You have to set up the algorithm that you're doing. Okay. Now, the next thing to do is to look at what's on top of that piece that you've just lined up. And it is red and green. That means that it is going to go between the red and the green faces. So if I could pull this piece out, I could put it right here between the red and the green. That's why we know that it's going to be going from here to right here. All right, so this algorithm is adaptable to either direction. And I'm going to try to say it generally because in this case, I am trying to get this piece to the right since it needs to go right here. But in other cases, I might need to go to the left. But I'll show you both. Okay, so the first turn of this algorithm is to turn the top layer away from the side that you're trying to go to. So that's why I turned here this way. If I was trying to go this way, I'd go away in another direction. The next step is to bring the side that you're trying to get to up. Notice that you get this line of white on the side of the cube. So away, then up, away again. So I went to the left when I went away, so I'm turning the same exact direction. So away, up, away. Then we're going to do my favorite move of all of the solving of the cube, which is this middle slice, I call it a slice, towards you. So what that does, and you can actually see it starting to solve the edge that we're doing, is brings that edge that we were trying to put into place right next to the pieces it wants to be aligned with. So the middle slice towards you. And then this little line that we made, we cut the guy's head off, and we need to put it back on. The head is right here, and we're going to turn the top to remake this line. Away, up, away, head back on. Or middle slice towards you, then head back on. As soon as we put the head back on, we are going to put this layer back down. Now, on the back of the cube, we're also decapitating another white line stick figure person. And so we're going to put that head back on. That's what I mean by head back on. And then again, we're going to do the middle slice, which is going to bring this back down between where it needs to go. And what happened? How in the world did we not mess up the cube? Well, we were remaking all the pieces we broke apart. What we did was put this edge right where it needs to go. I'm going to show you again. Oh no, we're in a tricky situation. I look, and there's no pieces without yellow on them. Yellow, 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 and yellow. But we're clearly not done with the middle layer. I'm happy this happened because it happens a good amount of the time. The algorithm that you just learned, that I just showed you, can be used to put any piece in the middle layer. It doesn't necessarily have to be the correct piece. What really happened is that the pieces that we need for the middle layer are stuck in the middle layer in the wrong spots. So what I need to do right now is to put another piece in there to bump them out of place. And I only really need to do that to one of them. So this piece clearly is not where it needs to go. So I will take any of these 4 pieces and imagine that I am trying to insert them the same way into this spot. And I'm going to use the same algorithm to do it. Okay, so if I was trying to put this piece right here, I would turn the top away from where it needs to go, up, this side up, since I'm trying to go here, away again, middle slice towards you, head back on, down, turn it around, head back on, down. What that did is it put the piece I had in front of me in the spot that this orange and green piece was, and that allowed me to then freely move it, and now I do have a piece with no yellow on it. So I'm going to line up again. And now I'm going to go a little faster because I'm going to say the algorithm in only the turns. Okay, this piece is lined up with the orange, and it needs to go, since it has green on top, right here. That's the green side. It wants to go right here. All right, away, up, away again, middle slice towards you, head back on, down, head back on, down. Now we have one piece remaining. Line up. Also needs to go this way. Away, up, away again, middle slice, head back on, down, head back on, down. All right, I'm going to do some pre-configuring right now. Believe it or not, this is not a speed cube. All right. Congratulations, we have the middle layer. We now have 2 layers of the cube. Our next step, our goal is to get a plus sign or a cross on the yellow side. But that's not as easy to do as the first side because we have so much that we don't want to mess up. So there is an algorithm that takes you from where you are right now, or maybe right now, to the cross. There are 4 situations we could be in. We could have none of the cross, like we have right now. I call that the dot. We could have an L of the cross. I may have a corner piece facing up as well, but this is the L that I'm referring to. So even if there was a yellow corner here and here, we're just looking at how much of the cross we have. So this L is backward, so we are looking at it to be facing this way, but you could just turn it around and make it a regular L. That's the other case, so we could have the dot, the L. This is also an L, I know, but we consider this the line because, again, we're not regarding the corners right now. So this is a line. Or, if we're lucky, we'll have the top cross. There we go. So like I said, we are trying to solve the cross. I'm going to get back to the beginning where we were. Whoa. All right. The dot. That doesn't matter. This is not an L. This is the dot. I have none of the cross. Okay, now, the algorithm I'm about to teach you will take you from one of those 4 steps to the next in order. We go from dot to L to line to cross. And it's the same algorithm that takes you from one to the other. So if I started here, I would need to do it a few times to get to the cross. But if I already had the cross, I wouldn't have to do it at all. If I had the line, I would only have to do it once. So we're going to start from the beginning so that we can see it a few times. If you have the dot, it doesn't matter which side is facing you, as long as the white is on the bottom. So we'll hold it this way. And we're going to turn the front side clockwise. The front side is the side facing you if you hold the white on the bottom. So it doesn't matter what we call the front side, since a dot is a dot from any angle. But if I was talking about holding the cube this way, then the front would be the red side. Clockwise is the way an analog clock goes around, not a digital clock. So, front clockwise. Now, the next move is to turn the right side away from you. So, front, right, top to the left. Now, we're going to undo those 3 moves, but in a different order. So, it went front, right, top. And we're now going to do those 3 moves in the other order, in the other direction, in a different order. Front, right, top. Now, right towards you instead of away. Top to the right away, or the right instead of to the left. And front counterclockwise. Oh, that is clockwise. No, that's counterclockwise. Holding it backwards. So, what we just did gave us the L. And we're going to hold it. Now, it does matter which way you hold the cube. You're going to hold it so that the L is backwards. So that is from the top perspective. This is a backwards L. This dot does not matter. This corner does not matter. I'm going to show you again. Front, clockwise. Right, away from you. Top to the left. And now in another order. Right, top, front. That took us to the next step, the line. Front, right, top. Right, top, front. And now we have the cross. Okay, when you have the cross, what we're looking to do, kind of like the first cross that we solved, is to line up the pieces of the cross, as many as you can. You can always line up at least 2. So by turning the top cross, I'm looking to line up as many pieces as possible. So right now, I can line up 1 red, and that's it. I can do better than that. I line up again. I turn 1 time. Nothing is lined up. That's no good. I turn again. The green and nothing else. So that means I will turn 1 more time and see how many are lined up. And they are the orange and the blue. Okay. While you have 2 pieces lined up, you're going to hold one of them in your right hand and the other away from you. So by that I mean, of the 2 pieces I've lined up, one is in my right hand, your right hand as the camera holder, and the other is facing away from you. So this is correct. This is the next algorithm. We're going to turn the right side away from you. Top to the left, right side towards you, top to the left again, right side away from you, top twice, and then we can see that we want to put that right side down. What that does, if we turn and try to align again, is it lines up all 4 edges on the cross. And so now they're all lined up. Okay. Now, the next step that we're going to do is try to line up these corners. Right now, none of these corners are in the right place, right? So by right place, I mean they should at least match up with the colors around them. They all have yellow on them, but this piece has red and green, and it is not between the red and the green sides. I can check. That is not matching up with the colors around it, nor is that, right? So what we need to do, this next algorithm protects a piece which is in your top right corner hand, and the other three will switch around and hopefully help us align the other three. So I'm going to show this algorithm and show you what happens as a result. The first turn is to turn the top to the left. The next, right side up. And you get this little line with a person on it, and you're going to cut the head off. Don't worry, they will survive. And so the direction I'm cutting the head is away from the side that it is on. So it will go towards the side it is on, if you think about it, rather than this way. So I've brought the head up, I turn away. I now bring this side up. And if we watch, we have person with a head, person without a head. We're going to switch the heads by turning back the other way. As soon as you put this back on, it can go down. Now we're going to line up the heads again, turn it back, line up the heads, and down. What did that do? Let's see. Now we have a corner in the proper place. Orange, green, yellow. Again, the algorithm I just showed you, which I will show you again, keeps whichever piece is in this corner from being changed. I would like to keep this because it's got the right colors on it. It might not be facing the right way, but we'll deal with that later. These three corners are not in the right place. And so, the way I need to hold the cube is with the corner I like the best in this spot, and I'm going to do the algorithm until the other corners are similarly matched up. All right, so I'll try not to say too much in the middle, and I'll say the names of the moves. So, top to the left, away, cut the head off, away, switch the heads, down, switch the heads, down. What did we do? That's good. That's good. And these two are at least in the right spots, but not lined up or oriented, we should say, the right way. But now we go back to the very first algorithm that we learned for the first side. In order to fix this corner, I am going to do the algorithm towards you, left, away, right, until I have changed the orientation of the cube until it's facing the right way, just like this one is. So I'll show you what I mean. Towards you, left, away, right. Right side towards you, bottom to the left, right side away. And don't forget this last move. It might not look important, but bottom to the right again. It's always those four moves in sequence. Once you have done the algorithm enough to get this lined up, this is a very important step. When I first learned the Rubik's Cube, I was in 5th grade, and I forgot this step and could not figure out what I was doing wrong, and I couldn't solve the cube for weeks because of this. Once you have solved the corner that you started with first, imagine that this spot on the cube is where every corner will be fixed. A lot of people advance to the next corner by doing that, by turning the whole cube and moving to the next corner. Do not do that. It will mess up the whole cube. So I started right here and I solved this corner first. All I need to do is turn the top. The instructions are written in all caps in the cheat sheet. We're almost done, Mr. Wiseman. And we're going to continue on this corner. Right side towards you, bottom to the left, right side away from you, bottom to the right. And continue towards you, left, away, right, towards you, left, away, right. And one more time, towards you, left, away, right. And then I think you could figure out what else to do on the cube.